Wengi wanamuita acting, lakini sisi tunamuita working chief executive officer. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that very guest that you've been anxiously waiting for, that very conversation that you've been patiently waiting for is finally here. And of course, nothing gets more interesting, nothing gets more amazing than the conversations and the guests that we normally have in studio for you. And this morning, we are joined by the one and only Her Excellency.
Yeah.
Wacha mataito zianze kumiminika sasa. Her Excellency.
Yeah.
Kindly introduce yourself, madam.
Good morning, Mombasa.
Vijana, hi.
My name is Gloria Wawira. I am the working Chief Executive Officer of the National Youth Council of Kenya. Yani afisa mkuu mtendaji wa baraza la vijana la Kenya. Nashukuru sana kufika hapa Blue Radio na watati.
Mbona unasema watati?
Maanake vijana wamepewa nafasi ya kujichagulia viongozi wao.
Right.
The most important thing for the last 14 years hakuja kuwa na kura ya vijana. The National Youth Council elections inakuja hapa July 2026. Kijana uliye nyumbani uko tayari? Are you ready?
Right.
Yeah. And I can tell you more about that as we go along.
Wow. All right. For maybe that our listener who is getting for the first time this name, NYC, the National Youth Council. Could you please tell us more about it and what do you do?
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me this morning. The National Youth Council, yani Baraza la Vijana, is official government body mandated to amplify youth voices. We are established by the NYC Act of 2009, and we are principally working towards the Article 55 imperative. Article 55 of our Constitution requires that the government put in place mechanisms for youth to associate, participate, and be represented in political, social, and economic spheres of life, and that they are protected from abuse of any kind. And so the National Youth Council, alongside other agencies, is a principal agency working to amplify youth voices and to ensure youth can participate, associate, and be represented. And we do that in many ways, many ways.
Right. Fantastic.
That is amazing. Asante sana, thank you for coming. And yeah, a lot of young people have been saying there's been an issue raised because they say politics always remembers us during elections. What do you think this is?
This is because we are many. Tuko wengi, and in truth, we are the ones who can make a difference for our futures. Kura sahi, if we say the country is 75.1% young people below the age of 35, it means the rest who are above the age of 35 ni wachache sana.
Right.
If you think about the ones who are between 18 and 35, wale ambao wako na ID wanaweza piga kura, ni wengi. The young people of this republic have the real power to make the real difference they want to see in their lives. And that's why around the political season we see many young people getting involved. But I believe this time, hatutakumbukwa. We will be in the arena. Tutakuwa sisi ndio tunapigiwa kura na tunapigiana kura, au mnaonaje?
Hivyo ndio inafaa.
Hivyo ndio kuenda.
Hivyo ndio lazima kuwe. Lazima vijana this time tujipange, tuwe tayari. Kwa ma MCA, kwa ma MP, kwa magavana. Mbona tusiwe?
We can. Yes, we can.
Why can't we?
Right.
We can. So I think this time sikukumbukwa. This time sisi ndio tupo.
Yeah. And why do you think it's very important for a young person to step out and make the decision they want?
I like to say the young people of this republic have the largest stake in the sustainability of this country. If God is, if anything, nature is to go on, in another 50 or so years, we're the ones who will be here. Will be former youth, will have matured.
Yes.
But right now, the success, the sustainability, the prosperity of Kenya is our business.
Right.
Why? Because this is where we want to make our lives. Hapa ndio tuna hustle, tunatafuta mboka. We're trying to make a living here in Kenya.
Right.
And so the sustainability, the peace, the prosperity, economic and otherwise of this country is our business. And that's why we must show up.
Yes.
Whether it's to the National Youth Council election or to the national election.
Right.
We must show up and our voices must be heard. It's not enough to sit na complain kwa mtandao. You must do something about it.
Right.
And it's okay to voice your views however you voice them, but it's more important to do something about it.
Right.
To go and elect your friend who's running for MCA, go and support them. To go and elect that MP who you think has made a big difference.
Yeah.
But most importantly, to elect a young person to the National Youth Council to represent your views. That's why it matters.
Wonderful. All right. So youth unemployment remains one of Kenya's biggest challenge. What concrete opportunities can NYC realistically help create?
I love that question. I love that question so much, my guy, because for the first time we have a clear youth agenda on employment.
Right.
I agree. Our biggest challenge as young people ni kazi, worker, hustle.
Right.
And I'll be the first to admit that it's been particularly with the rise in the cost of fuel on a pale pa TV, tuna monitor fuel prices. There has been, the economic times are hard, but I think it's important that we focus on what is available to us, and there are 4 pathways in how we are thinking about work. Kuna kazi kwa ground, kazi maju, kazi mtandaoni, na manake niko pwani, kazi baharini.
Right.
Kazi kwa ground, as you've all heard about time and time again, is about giving young people opportunities here in the Republic of Kenya.
Right.
Kuna zile kazi ambazo ni za affordable housing. For example, unaingia pale kwenye hustle, wewe ni engineer, wewe ni mzee wa mjengo. Sijui kama mna chai.
Chai iko na jikoni, iko readily available. Tutaweka dimanga usijali. Tutaweka mawe usijali.
So yeah, the opportunities to get to work here locally, and they're accessible. Kuna a project ya Climate Works, kuna a project ya affordable housing. They're accessible through your local chief. Ukisikia vijana, ukisikia wanaitana vijana wa Climate Works, vijana wa kwenda affordable housing, subscribe. Mboka ni mboka, inaweza kuwa si mingi, but it's something to do, and we all have to start somewhere. I'd rather we are working, getting that which we are making, than we are at home not doing anything. So I'd like to encourage young people to tap into that affordable housing pathway, to tap into the Climate Works pathway, and in case you're not clear on how to go, you can come to the NYC website, or you can talk to us online, NYC_Youth Voice. We will be able to connect you with a relevant agency that can help you access that opportunity.
Wow.
La pili ni kazi maju.
Kazi maju.
Kazi maju. Kwa sasa vijana takriban 1500 wamepata kwenda kufanya kazi maju. Na zaidi na kuzidia. The reason why it's important is because it's the opportunity to earn skills and earn experience in a different jurisdiction. The government of Kenya is very actively, in collaboration with other governments, trying to make pathways for young people to work. You know, in the rest of the world, it is only here in Africa where we say we are young. Our average age is 19. Ukienda Japan, ukienda Europe, watu nikuzeeka wamezeeka. So they don't have the workforce to run their industries, to make life work. And that's why we, the continent of Africa, we the young people of Africa, will not only be the workforce of the world, will also be the marketplace of the world. Because if the data is right, 1 in 4 people on the continent in 2050 will be of African descent, and they will be young. So can you imagine how big that market is? Now let's focus on the jobs, or the opportunity for jobs. If these people are growing old, then there's an opportunity for legal migration to go and make a living. And that's where the Kazi Maju program comes in. That's what it's trying to tap into. I'm encouraging young people to take up the opportunities. All you have to do is make sure you go to the National Employment Authority website, so that you find an agent who's verified. Usipate agent wa mtaa. Haswa hapa mimi ni mwenyeji pwani. I know we like to go abroad. I grew up here. I know tunapenda kwenda kufanya kazi nchi za Gulf, kwenda Germany. Ni muhimu unatafuta agent ambaye ako credible, ili usije ukaenda ukapotea. So you can verify that through the National Employment Authority website. Again, if you're not clear, reach out to the National Youth Council. We'll give you the list and where you can connect.
Super interesting. All right. Some young people also think councils and forums are just symbolic and they don't change lives. What do you say to them?
Interesting question. Why do you have... if I'm wondering how to answer that question without being cut. Okay. You know, as young people, we're always organizing ourselves, Councils and forum are not useful. We're always organizing yourself. Kwa mtaa. I'm sure you have your own mtaa fora, group ya vijana. You get together, mnafanya either charity work au mnafanya mradi kwa S2. Why? Why do you young men and women get together? Ukienda kila mahali leo, kuna youth leader wa hapa, youth leader wa hile, mbona? If councils and forums are just that, why not? I understand the skepticism, but this is a legitimate platform for you to do and make choices for your future, for you to represent your colleagues, your peers, for you to bring your views to be heard. Mara mingi tunasema vijana hatusikiki. Here is a platform. Here is the platform. Here it is. Take advantage of it. Come into the platform and use it to model the leadership you say you want. It's our opportunity to actually do. not to just say.
Right.
It's our chance to do. So what else? There's no other pathway, to meaningful transformation other than collaboration.
Right.
These platforms, these fora are useful. That's why you have a parliament. That's why you have an assembly. That's why you have caucuses of different groups, so that you can be able to, one, distill your issues clearly, two, decide what solutions you think will work for you meaningfully, and three, implement those solutions.
Right.
So one may say, okay, it's a talk shop, but it's really what you make of it. The leaders that we elect, and that's why this election is very important.
Right.
The young people we elect must be coming to do wakuja kazi,
Absolutely.
wameingia kazi,
Right.
Yeah.
to represent our views and to champion for the inclusion and the economic empowerment of young people.
Wow.
Right. So, Madam, as an acting CEO for the National Youth Council, what excites you about the current youth generation we have right now?
We are awake.
We're a woke
We are
generation.
a woke generation.
Right.
Yani sisi ndio tupo.
Yes.
We are engaged. Guys, we're living through, I think, the most transformational season of this continent. We are educated, we have the tools of technology, and we are organizing ourselves to make meaningful change. I am so excited
Right.
that we are actively, civically aware, civically engaging, civically participating. It will make a big difference.
Yeah.
Whether it's in governance or it's in enterprise, some of the most phenomenal innovations are coming from the young people of this continent, solving African problems the African way.
Right.
Building our very own unicorns. Whether it's in civil society or in community organizing. The National Youth Council regulates youth-serving organizations. I cannot tell you how many NGOs, registered and unregistered,
Right.
are owned and led by young people doing meaningful work, including here, Blue Radio. This is an enterprise, yeah?
Right.
Yeah.
Biashara ya vijana.
Right.
Look at the transformational work you're doing. So
Yeah.
I'm very excited that we are woke, that we are present, and that we are stepping up to not only talk but to do. And it's very, very encouraging.
Wow.
Right. Do you know
Beautiful.
they say the past generation of youth, the millennials, walikuwa ni watu wa kufuata tu rules. But right now we have the Gen Zs who are always asking questions.
Right.
Why do we have to do this? Why?
They really want to know.
Eh, how does your generation receive this generation of the young people? Do you feel ni kama tunawapush sana?
You know me, I'm very close. I'm a zillennial. Niko kwa border.
Yeah.
Hapo tu. Kwa border tu.
Unaning'inia tu hapo.
Unaning'inia kwa border. So, no, I don't think so. I think every generation has questioned.
Yeah.
Every generation in history has questioned. And there's a moment for every generation to answer. I think Gen Zs are simply answering their call. If you think about history of this continent, all the revolutions and all the transformations we've seen in this continent have been led by young people. From Thomas Sankara to our freedom fighters at the time they were fighting, to any other, to even the current leadership that we have. Most of them entered politics very, very young.
Right.
So every generation must answer its call. And Gen Z are doing nothing more than answering their call,
Right.
whether it's in governance, whether it's in politics, whether it's in enterprise or in social inclusion work.
Right.
All right. Umesema kwamba it has taken 14 years for the NYC elections. Why do you think it has taken that long?
Many things had not aligned to make the elections possible.
Right.
When the last council lapsed, which was 2019, we didn't have regulations to conduct the elections. We didn't have the political goodwill to conduct the elections.
Right.
Many things had not aligned. We also didn't have an active leadership. The National Youth Council is under the Ministry of Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports, led by our Cabinet Secretary Salim Vuria and our PS Fikirini Jacobs, comrade number one. So we have leadership and political goodwill that has allowed us to come to this moment. And the council secretariat, which I lead, and other actors in the ecosystem have been advocating for this election. So I don't think there's it's unfortunate that it took long. For many reasons. The last time there were concerns around security. There are many, many reasons why the elections didn't take off. But I think we should focus on that we are here now.
Right.
The concerted efforts of the last 14 years have led us here to this opportunity, and that we should make the most of it as best as we can as young people.
Amazing. Kindly walk us through the NYC election process.
Okay. The NYC election process is a process that elects 8,700 youth leaders across the country.
8,700.
8,700.
It's a big number.
It's a big number. That's why if you don't make a change, it will be on us. It will be our fault system.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you get to the 8,700? It starts at the ward level. 6 youth representatives in every ward. Tuko na ward ngapi Kenya? 1450. 1450 times 6, 8,700.
Right.
Of these 3 representatives in every ward, 50% must be male, 50% must be female. Boy child, na baby girl.
Yeah.
Lazima wakwe.
Right.
But also what is most important is we must also account for people with disability.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And special interest groups amongst us. You know, the marginalized communities amongst us.
Yeah.
Tunaweza kuwa tuko hapa Mombasa, so tuko wa pwani, so of us who, you know, lakini kuna yule ambaye amekuja. And we must account for them in that process.
Right.
Once you have those 8,700 in every constituency, the delegates of that ward all the wards in that constituency get together and they elect constituency representatives. Wangapi? Wawili. 1 male, 1 female. Tuko na constituency ngapi Kenya? Unajua? Constituency za Kenya ni
tupeleke na mtara.
Yeah. Constituencies za Kenya ni ngapi? 290.
290 constituencies.
Hizo 290 zinakuwa ngapi? 580.
Right.
Hao vijana 50% male, 50% female.
Right.
Wa 290.
Right.
580 in total. Ndio National Youth Congress.
Yes.
Kutoka kwa hiyo Congress,
right,
wana elect vijana 8 who will be the council members. Another 8 who may be nominated by the cabinet secretary to ensure that you have regional and inclusivity. So in case somebody is not nominated, maybe you only elect men and there are no women in the process, we have to balance it. Perhaps you miss out on a person living with disability, the cabinet secretary can nominate to balance that out. And then lastly, they elect 31 reserve members. Why 31? Because unaweza kuwa umepigiwa kura na uko 34 and a half. Ukifika 35 lazima uondoke.
Right.
So those reserve members will be able to fill those slots as, you know, natural attrition happens. You know, youth is transient. It's 18 to 35.
Yes.
Kila siku kuna wale wanaingia na kila siku kuna wale wanatoka.
Right.
So we need those 31 to enable that transition to happen efficiently. And in total, 8 plus 8 plus 31 will give us 47.
Right.
So you will in principle have a youth leader in an ideal world from every county, a rep from every county.
Wow.
Because the process must be inclusive, it must be representative, and it must account for all of us who live, you know, in the Republic of Kenya.
Right.
How does one get elected? The election process will be hybrid. There will be we will be advising where the election will be physical and where will be hybrid.
Right.
But the majority of the processes of the election will be online. Registration, nomination, all those processes will be done online. Vijana tumesema via tuko rada na simu zote. So we are bringing the election to the comfort of your phone.
Right.
You can nominate your colleagues there. You can elect your colleagues from the comfort of your phone, and we'll be advising on the platform to be used shortly here.
Interesting.
I know it's a question a lot of young people are asking. Iko wapi platform ya NYC election?
Right.
Tunapika.
Right.
We're working on it.
Sasa bado mko jikoni.
Tunasonga tunachia.
Mambo ni mos tu.
Mos hamna haraka.
Right.
But we will be announcing the election platform shortly hereafter that young people can use. Swali kila mtu ananiuliza. How do I get nominated to run?
Right.
Kiongozi yuko pale mtaa kusimama. Jambo la kwanza, umefika miaka 18, wewe ni Mkenya uliye na miaka 18.
Right.
First question. Ikiwa uko hivyo, uko na O level certificate. Kama uko nayo basi, nienda tafuta certificate ya chief. Thank you. Chief wako akunominate wa ward wako, yani akurecommend. Ukishapata hizo 3, utafute mbogi wa 250.
Right.
Wa kunominate, imetosha.
Watu chwani tu.
You're eligible to run.
Hapa Blue Radio mimi nishapita.
Sawa, nipe nomination form niende nayo sasa.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right. So madam, okay, undisputed.
Yes, I wanted to ask, how is the IEBC involved in this process?
So the regulations provide that we can rely on the IBC in consultations with them. But the most important thing to note is that the elections are run by the National Steering Committee. If you look at the regulations, National Youth Council, election of certain council member regulations of 2021.
Yes.
If you look at the regulations, there's a National Steering Committee there, and that National Steering Committee has a representative from the IEBC. If you look at the Election Steering Committee, they have representatives from the IEBC, your local representatives. So IEBC is represented in the steering mechanism, and that's how we are collaborating with them.
All right. Super interesting, beautiful, fantastic. Unahisi vipi undisputed? Si tuendelee mpaka kitu around saa 5 hapo ndo to check out.
Yeah.
All right. So Madam Gloria Wawira, as the acting acha hiyo mambo na acting tumesema tuachane nayo. As the working CEO, what are some of the toughest challenges you've encountered so far in that office?
In this office? I think the biggest challenge since I came in has been getting the National Youth Council election done. I remember, I think January, February of 2025, Mbogi ilikuja kwa ofisi. They came, a very big crowd to the office, and they told me, CEO, you are not working. We have not had our election. You undertook.
Someone is sleeping in our job here.
Umelala kwa ofisi baada mamka. And I'm very thrilled for this election because it's taken some doing. It's taken some political goodwill. It's taken some collaboration from stakeholders and support from our leadership at the ministry and politically for us to be able to arrive at a place where we can deliver this after 14 years. My biggest challenge was that. Hassan Dohi, vijana wenzangu. Let us do the best we can with it. That has been my biggest challenge in this office.
Right. And also, why do you think that Kenyan youth should start trusting institutions again? It's very important for Kenyan youth to start trusting institutions again. Why is it really important?
Ruhusu niwajibu kama wakili hilo swali because I'm a lawyer by training.
Ala.
What we
ni sawa. Najua umejia ngoni ni sawa.
What we aspire for as a country is a beautiful thing called the rule of law.
Yes.
Where all of us, and it's a principle of our constitution, where our institutions can be trusted, where our institutions deliver for us. You asked me about IEBC. You asked me about IEBC because we trust it as the independent electoral body. And the same follows for all other institutions. You want to trust that when you go to school, you will get a good education. You want to trust that when you go to hospital, you will get reliable healthcare. And so where else we may, and I know globally, there's a decline in trust in institutions, we have no other mechanism for delivering transformational change at scale. Blue Radio here, if it were just the two of you, without Blue Radio, you would be influencing your own spheres. But here you are together in a station with airwaves, reaching millions of people at a time. I'm sure millions are listening to us just now, online and otherwise. So institutions are our vehicle for real transformation. They're our vehicle where we can make change at scale. That's why we cannot give up on our institutions, politically, socially, and also economically. We must continue to require effectiveness, require integrity of those institutions, but we must also trust them. Because let me take, for example, if you stopped regulating doctors, for example, what trust do you have that the doctor is treating you is, qualified, capable, and competent? You have no assurance. But institutions serve the space of giving us reassurance, giving us credibility and legitimacy. And that's why we must continue to advocate for them, protect them, and trust them, regardless of the challenges. I'm not saying there'll be no challenges. I'm not saying there's no occasional corrupt leader or untrustworthy leader. Those things happen. The same way in all our communities, even in our families. There's always the black sheep of the family. These things happen. But without institutions, our very social order collapses. And it's important that we maintain that social order for the stability again and the prosperity and posterity of this country.
Wow. Beautiful. Also, critics say many youth institutions become inactive after elections. How will NYC remain relevant beyond politics?
Vijana 8,700 mtakuwa inactive vipi? How? There's a leader in every ward. 6 leaders in every ward.
Ni gurudumu isonge kisonganga.
Kisonganga inasimama vipi? How? Transformation initiative, collaborations with partners, programming. Let me talk a little about NYC programming. As it is right now, let me talk about 3 programs. We have the WAZO program. WAZO is we came up with it 2025 as a listening campaign to do 2 things. Hear young people, tell us what it is we need, and 2, tell them where the opportunities are. And so we did it in 5 counties. We reached over 7,000 people in person, and like 7 million online, because we used to stream it live. Our social media was always a buzz and very engaging. A lot of young people perhaps did not know those opportunities, but now you have your ward leader, your ward representative. That ward representative will bring WAZO to your ward. Another program we're implementing is Kijani, which is a climate resilience, climate sustainability program, where we're helping young people to plant trees, but we're also helping them to establish nurseries, forest nurseries. That youth representative will bring your Kijani to your ward, to your constituency, to your county. So itasimamaje? How will 8,700 young people not bring in meaningful change?
Right.
I believe it. I trust in the vision of the leaders that will come into the National Youth Council.
Wasema ngoma ni mpaka mwisho.
Mpaka mwisho.
Amazing. All right. So, what kind of youth leadership does Kenya need right now?
Ready. And by ready, I mean youth leadership that is ready. By ready, I mean we're speaking from a place that is informed. We're reading. We're not just watching a video on TikTok and forming an opinion. We're doing the research. I have loved the way we have engaged with the fuel issue. People are saying, oh, mafuta huku ni hivi. We have tried to engage with it. We are applying ourselves to this conversation.
Right.
Now we need to apply ourselves progressively. That's the second thing.
Progressive
leadership, progressive youth leadership.
Right.
Not leadership that just says, this is a problem.
Sure.
Leadership that says, this is a problem and this is my proposed solution.
Wow.
It is easy to be the pessimist in the room. It always is. The person that can point out the challenge, very easy. Because challenges are awash. They're everywhere. She doesn't najileta. Successes are what you have to go and look for.
Right.
So progressive leadership, ready leadership, progressive leadership, and leadership with integrity.
Wow.
Leadership with integrity. By integrity, I mean you're a person who means what you say, but most importantly, you're a person who loves your country. I love Kenya.
Wow.
Mimi napenda Kenya. Mimi ni Mkenya daima. That's why I do what I do. I love this country. And I know that this is where I will make my life.
Right.
I am making it as I speak. Niko hapa
Right.
mbogi yangu iko, mboka yangu iko,
Right.
hapa.
Right.
So I have integrity to say to mean what I say, and to love this country enough to do right by it. I don't know if you guys, we don't have much patriotism education anymore, but there are songs about Kenya. Nasikianga za siku za Moi. Mimi Mkenya daima. There are a few songs from back in the day, maybe unaweza nitafutia. It used to be sung about love of country. I think as young people, this is home. Hamuna kwingine kwa kuenda. Tunahama tuende wapi? Tunaenda wapi? It is here. This is home. We must be ready to step up. We've read, we've prepared ourselves. We can hold our own at the table. Because you can get to the table. Getting to the table is easy.
Yes.
Young people, quota umeingia. But can you stay at the table? Can you meaningfully engage at the table? 2, are you progressive? Are you bringing solutions? And 3, do you have integrity in yourself and for your country? Those are the 3 things we need to be, in my mind, as young leaders. But I would love to hear from the crowd what they think young leaders need to be.
Right. There is one thing that people are asking right here. What is that one mistake politicians do when it comes to engaging the young people?
Thank you. We tokenize young people. You know, mesema, institutions will be relevant after the election.
Right.
Or why are we only meeting now? We engage them and then we forget. But I think the problem is two-way. Us as young people, go on the table for a handout. Unaitwa na mheshimiwa, hata humpendi, hata nini, hujali sera zake. Bora amekupa kitu, umeingia. Yule anaingia pale, hana shughuli na wewe, amekuondokea. Mtakutana tena after 5 years. The whole process of tokenization is a challenge for young people, but it goes both ways. It's both on the politician who wants to tokenize us, but it's also on us young people not recognizing the power that we have.
Right.
Yeah. Utamchagua rafiki yako, useme rafiki yangu hapa anasimama kwa MCA, yule ni mheshimiwa wa kawaida. Nitamwacha rafiki yangu ambaye namjua, mimi nikachukua yule ambaye anipa handout. That's a flaw on my part. That leader on the other hand is tokenizing me, and it's a big challenge that goes both ways. And that's why we're trying to reset the relationship between leadership and young people. We're not leaders of tomorrow, we're leaders of today. We're taking responsibility and action today.
Beautiful.
Whether we are being elected or we are voters.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Whether we are setting up businesses or we work in those businesses.
Right.
But we're taking responsibility today.
Fantastic. All right. So, Madam Gloria, your last message to every young Kenyan youth who is listening this morning.
The National Youth Council is committed to amplifying youth voices.
Right.
Sauti ya vijana.
Right.
Your voices matter. You're capable of making real transformational change in this republic. And we have been given an opportunity to elect youth representatives through the National Youth Council election.
Right.
Tell a friend to tell a friend. Participate. Get a chance to be represented in a political mechanism and to make your own choices at the ward level. That's how foundational it is, from the ward level, from the very lowest unit of governance.
Right.
So that us young people can have a channel, a network, a route to be able to voice our needs and to be able to solution together. Lastly, we the young people of Kenya are the future and the present of this republic.
Right.
Tujitume, tushughulike, to hustle as we continue to build a country that we can all be proud of.
Wow. Beautiful.
Yeah.
That was really amazing. Quite insightful. Undisputed, umesikia, let us send ourselves. Tujitume sisi kama mayouth. Let us send ourselves. Tusiketi tu tunangoja maandamano twende tuvunje maduka, tufanye looting. Let us send ourselves. Tujitume. Because Madam Gloria Wawira, thank you so much for making up time. It has been really amazing having you this morning.
Thank you for having me.
We don't take it for granted. Blue Radio Kenya, we are more than privileged to have you. Welcome back again and again. This is your home. Anytime, any weather. Karibu tena na tena na tena. All right.
You're listening to Blue Radio, bringing the vibe.